Fish wholesaler faces murder charge over fatal drunk driving crash. 356 compounds issued for CMCO SOP violations yesterday. Good evening. Thanks for joining us. You're watching News on 2 with me, Mohammed Amin Carlos. Well, a 41-year-old fish wholesaler was charged at the Kuantan Magistrates Court today with murdering an Alam Flora supervisor last week. Teo Kian Peng from Tanah Puteh, Kuantan nodded when the charge was read to him in Bahasa Melayu before Magistrate Najwa Hashim. However, no plea was recorded from the accused, who is believed to have been drunk during the incident. Now, for the charge under Section 302 of the Penal Code, which carries a mandatory death sentence upon conviction. Well, based on the charge sheet, Teo is accused of murdering Erwan Herman Kamarudin, 41, along the Jalan Kuantan bypass near Petronas Bukit Rangin at about 9:20 p.m. on 25th May. Deputy Public Prosecutor Nazrul Hadi Abdul Ghani did not offer bail, saying it was a non-bailable offence. Nazrul Hadi said the accused will be detained at the Penur prison while waiting for proceedings to begin and requested a new mention date to allow the prosecution to receive case-related documents. Meanwhile, Teo's lawyer, Tay Yi Kwan, sought permission to explain the charge to his client for a few minutes after the day's proceedings, and Najwa later set 8th July for mention. Erwan Herman was killed after his Toyota Yaris was hit by the driver of a Toyota CHR, which was moving against the flow of traffic along the stretch. Well, Erwan was traveling to work in Gebeng and was killed on the spot due to chest injuries, while the suspect escaped with light bruises. The suspect is believed to have consumed alcohol at a friend's house in Semambu before getting behind the wheel of his vehicle and driving against traffic flow before the crash. Well, police are doubling efforts and will be conducting more operations to address the issue of drunk driving, which has seen a drastic rise lately. Kuala Lumpur Police Chief Dato Sri Mazlan Lazim says he views this matter seriously and is constantly monitoring the situation, and as it is not only jeopardized by the life of a driver but other road users as well. Well, Dato Sri Mazlan also confirmed that a car accessory shop assistant who rammed into a food delivery man early this morning was charged in the Kuala Lumpur Magistrates Court for drunk driving causing death. However, Kor Yong Zhang, 21, pleaded not guilty to the charge, which was read out by a court interpreter in the presence of Magistrate Putri Nurshila Rahimi. He was charged with driving his car under the influence of alcohol, which exceeded the permitted limit at 161 milligrams, which and caused the death of motorcyclist Muhammad Zaili Muhammad, 44, at the Sultan Iskandar Highway heading towards Jalan Tun Razak at 1:30 a.m. Now, Kor was charged under Section 44, subsection 1 of the Road Transport Act 1987, which provides for a minimum fine of 8,000 ringgit and a maximum of 20,000 ringgit, and a jail sentence of not less than 3 years and not more than 10 if convicted. Well, there were 51 recovery cases recorded today, bringing the total cumulative discharge cases to 6,404, or 81.51%. And in his daily press briefing, Health Director General Dr. Noor Hisham Abdullah said, as at 12 noon today, Malaysia recorded 38 new COVID-19 cases, bringing the total number of infections to 7,857 cases.
Sehingga 1 Jun 2020 jam 12.30 hari, terdapat 38 kes baru yang telah dilaporkan. Ini menjadikan jumlah kes positif COVID-19 di Malaysia adalah sebanyak 7,857 kes.
Well, according to Dr. Noor Hisham, out of the 38 cases, 26 were imported. And he added that out of the 12 new cases that were transmitted locally, only 6 involved Malaysians. The other cases involve foreign workers and undocumented migrants. Well, currently, he said, there are 8 patients being treated at intensive care units or the ICUs, with 2 of them on ventilator support. The country saw no COVID-19 deaths, keeping the death toll at 115. Well, the task force on CMCO compliance led by PDRM yesterday conducted 69,507 checks on interstate travel compliance, while a total of 3,382 teams comprising 17,417 personnel were involved in this task. Now, Senior Minister for Security, Dato Sri Ismail Sabri Yaakob, during his daily press meet today, said police yesterday issued 356 compounds to individuals for violating the Conditional Movement Control Order, or CMCO, including interstate travels, although there were no compounds issued for making Hari Raya house visits. Dato Sri Ismail Sabri said 147 roadblocks nationwide and inspected 147,327 vehicles. He noted that PDRM arrested 43 individuals for various offences under the CMCO. Now, 38 of them were remanded while the other 5 were released on police bail.
PDRM juga turut mengeluarkan kompaun kepada 356 individu di atas pelbagai kesalahan engkar arahan PKPB, walau bagaimanapun tiada sebarang kompaun dikeluarkan atas kesalahan ziarah Aidilfitri.
A total of 220 compounds were issued, 134 of them at roadblocks. The state with the highest number of compounds issued was Perak with 40, followed by Selangor with 29 and Penang 23. Well, meanwhile, Dato Sri Ismail Sabri said since 27th April until yesterday, a total of 56,814 university students stranded in various campuses have been sent back to their respective home states. However, there are still 1,617 more students still waiting for their trip home.
Pihak KPT sedang membuat perancangan untuk menghantar mereka pulang. Hari ini tiada pergerakan penghantaran pulang pelajar sempena sambutan Hari Gawai dan juga Pesta Keamatan.
Commenting on the quarantine centres, Dato Sri Ismail Sabri said 14,623 individuals are currently undergoing compulsory quarantine at 187 quarantine centres nationwide. On public sanitisation operations, he said 7,379 operations have been conducted at 131 zones all over the country. Well, unlike before, the Royal Malaysian Air Force, RMAF's 62nd anniversary today was celebrated as per the new normal, utilizing social media. Dato Sri Ismail Sabri said due to the Conditional Movement Control Order, no big celebration nor parade were held today to mark the RMAF's anniversary this year.
Oleh kerana di dalam perintah kawalan pergerakan bersyarat ini, sambutan tidak seperti kebiasaan yang kita buat. Tidak ada istiadat perbarisan, tidak ada perhimpunan yang ramai, tidak ada. Jadi sambutan secara kecil-kecilan, bukan kecil-kecilan dari segi perhimpunan, tetapi menggunakan medium elektronik dan sebagainya. Jadi saya difahamkan tadi oleh Panglima Tentera Udara, mesej yang dia nak disampaikan, perutusan Panglima Tentera Udara pun disampaikan melalui online ataupun secara maya saja. Jadi inilah norma baru.
Dato Sri Ismail also hoped that the RMAF will remain committed in safeguarding the country's sovereignty and stands ready to execute their duties in an excellent manner. It is noted that the Air Force's anniversary is celebrated on 1st June every year. Sultan Selangor, Sultan Sharafuddin Idris Shah, has consented that the ban on Friday prayers and the 5 daily prayers for the public in mosques and suraus in Selangor be extended to 30th June to curb the spread of COVID-19. In private secretary to the Sultan of Selangor, Dato Muhammad Munir Bani said the Sultan had consented that during this period, Friday prayers will only be allowed to in 39 selected mosques with the fixed number of Muslims as announced previously. Now, the statement said the ban will be reviewed after the first week of this month. And if the number of COVID-19 cases drops consistently, the number of Muslims for Friday prayers can be increased and the mosques can be opened up earlier in stages, especially those in green zones. Well, Dato' Muhammad Munir said the azan, that's a call of prayer, will be sounded as usual, and for the time being, only the Imam, Bilal and Siak are allowed to perform the prayers in the mosques and suraus in the state, while religious talks will be continued through the social media. Well, at the same time, he said Sultan Sharafuddin urged the public to observe social distancing, wear masks and comply with the instructions and guidelines issued by the Health Ministry and Selangor Islamic Religious Department, or JICE, to improve the situation so that Muslims can return to pray in the mosques. It is noted that on 13 April, Sultan Sharafuddin ordered a ban on Friday prayers, congressional prayers and religious lectures in mosques, suraus and musola, that's prayer rooms, in the state until yesterday to curb the spread of COVID-19. However, on 14th May, following the drop in the number of COVID-19 cases, Sultan Selangor consented that Friday prayers could be held in 39 selected mosques in the state with a congregation of not more than 12 people, comprising only mosque officials and committee members. Well, the Sungai Petani Magistrate Court today fined 1,000 ringgit each to 42 individuals, including a senior citizen, for gathering in a big group and playing snooker during the CMCO. Now, the premises owner, meanwhile, was sentenced to 7 days in jail. Now, the sentences were meted out by Magistrate Arif Muhammad Sharif this morning after all the accused aged 19 to 62 pleaded guilty to each charge. Well, the 31-year-old premises owner and caretaker, meanwhile, was ordered to serve 7 days in jail, and he was also fined 7,000 ringgit for operating the snooker center without a valid license. Now, all of them were arrested following a raid by a police team conducting COVID at snooker centres around Sungai Petani, Kedah on 25th May. Now, the case is being investigated under Section 269 of the Penal Code and Regulation 3, Subsection 1 of the Prevention and Control of Infectious Diseases Regulations 2020 and the Entertainment Enactment 1997. Well, Yang di-Pertuan Agong Al Sultan Abdullah Riayatuddin Al Mustafa Billah Shah and Raja Permaisuri Agong Tunku Aziza Amina Maimuna Skandaria today conveyed Hari Gawai greetings to all Malaysians who celebrate the festival. Now, the royal couple conveyed the greetings through the Sana Negara official Instagram account. Well, Gawai is celebrated on 1st June each year by the people of Sarawak, including the Iban, Bidayo, Orang Ulu and other communities to mark the end of the paddy harvesting season. However, this year, Gawai is different as the nation is still under the Conditional Movement Control Order, CMCO, which was imposed to break the chain of COVID-19 infections. Now, only small gatherings comprising family members are allowed without the tradition of ngabang or visits, practiced in various years and previous years where people in the village or longhouses would gather to celebrate Gawai. In conjunction with the Hari Gawai celebration, or Tuai Rumah, or village heads are urged to monitor the compliance of the SOP and festival celebration protocol. Now, Sarawak Chief Minister Dato' Abang Johari Tunoping said the Hari Gawai celebration this year is celebrated differently from previous years as the country is adapting to the new norm following the implementation of the Conditional Movement Control Order, CMCO.
PKPB yang berakhir pada 9 Jun tidak membenarkan kita mengadakan perayaan Gawai seperti biasa. Kita tidak dibenarkan mengadakan rumah terbuka, tidak boleh ngabang dan hanya dibenarkan untuk berkumpul antara ahli keluarga dan rakan-rakan terdekat sebagai kaedah untuk menangani wabak COVID-19. Saya amat berterima kasih kepada saudara dan saudari yang faham dan akur kepada arahan kerajaan supaya tidak diadakan rumah terbuka dan tiada perhimpunan yang melebihi 20 orang.
Dato Abang Johari also hoped that the cash and non-cash incentives rolled out by the state government would help lessen the Rakyat's financial burden. He believed that the state's strong financial position due to its prudent spending over the past decades had allowed the state government to complement the federal government in providing assistance for the people to cushion the impact of the COVID-19 pandemic. On another note, the Chief Minister also urged the people not to share any unverified news on social media. Well, Dato Sri Najib Razak's lawyers and prosecutors who seek a jail term for the former Prime Minister for allegedly misappropriating 42 million ringgit in public funds will be making their oral submissions this week as the SRC International trial approaches its end. Now, the submissions are scheduled for 3 hearing dates at the Kuala Lumpur High Court, starting today and ending on Wednesday, 14 months after the trial began on 3rd April last year. Now, the defence's submission was split into 5 chapters and touched on the cause and purpose of the 42 million transaction that made up the crux of the charges against the Pekan MP and his belief the monies being an Arab donation, among others. One of Najib's lawyers, Harvinder Jit Singh, said the prosecution had deviated from the original theory and built its case from Najib's admissions during the defense. The defense trial, which started on 3rd December last year, lasted 33 days with 19 witnesses taking the stand. Now, Dato Sri Najib, 67, was the first witness to testify in the defense trial. His defense had largely contended that he did not know all the money originated from SRC International, a subsidiary of One Malaysia Development Berhad, 1MDB. And a total of 807 exhibits were tendered in court, and the prosecution had earlier called 57 witnesses to the stand. 2 individuals were charged in the Johor Bahru Sessions Court today for assaulting and causing injuries to a 17-year-old youth using a machete early last month. Now, after hearing the charge read in front of Judge Kamaruddin Kamsun, both accused pleaded not guilty. Now, the accused Lee Lok Heng, 19, and Sao Shing Sian, 28, were charged of committing the offence at 11:50 p.m. on 13th May in front of a restaurant at Pekan Kelapa Sawit, Kulai, and together with another suspect still at large. Both unemployed suspects were charged under Section 326 and 34 of the Penal Code. Prosecution was conducted by Deputy Public Prosecutor Farah Akhila Ahmad Fuad, while both accused were represented by lawyers Yap Chi Kai and Wo Shi Han. Now, court later allowed bail of 15,000 ringgit each with 1 surety. Now, case is set for remention on 19th July. But first, sad news on sports. Well, former national badminton great Tan Ek Mong has passed away, believed to be due to liver cancer at the Subang Jaya Medical Center in Petaling Jaya at 3:30 p.m. yesterday. Well, he was 70. Badminton Association of Malaysia BAM President Dato Sri Muhammad Norzah Zakaria in a statement said the national body is deeply saddened over the passing of Tan Ek Mong, who had made an immense contribution to Malaysian badminton during his glory days in the 1960s and 70s. Ek Mong, the younger brother of another Malaysian badminton great, Tan Ek Huang, the All-England men's singles champion in 1966, donned the national colours from 1966 to 1975. He helped Malaysia to finish as runners-up in 1970's Thomas Cup, which was held in Kuala Lumpur, besides winning 2 silver medals in the 1973 SEAP Games, currently known as SEA Games in Singapore. Now, the late Ek Mong's biggest achievement was securing the gold medal in the men's singles event at the 1971 Asian Badminton Championships in Jakarta. The Penang-born had also held various posts in BAM, including as its talent management group director back in 2013. And that concludes this evening's News on 2. In our top story, fish wholesaler faces murder charge of a fatal drunk driving crash. Now, we would also like to wish our Sarawakian viewers happy Gawai Day. Gayu Guru Gerai Nyamai. Have a wonderful celebration. Join us again at 12:30 tomorrow afternoon. I'm Amin Carlos. Stay tuned to TV2 and have a pleasant evening.